But as the clause says, that there must be an agreement amongst the various political parties that are part of the government of national unity to say that, yes, this particular party can form part of the composition of the government of national unity. On that basis, though, Sanet, can we say that this is a government of national unity if you have those conditions attached? That the two major parties that are part of the government of national unity, DA's Federal Council Chairperson Helen Zille had said that it is the ANC, the IFP, as well as the DA that are the founding members of the GNU, so they would have to decide.
I think that would be right. I think that it is also a good idea in terms of them writing and actually saying that they need to find consensus in terms of how they would be dealing with additional members joining. I think that is obviously a key principle if you're in a partnership with someone. I think that between the three political parties, they'd be able to come to a great consensus in terms of who they would believe would work best with them. And I definitely think that they shouldn't work in silos, because I think that might then cause a breakdown in terms of the GNU.
Yeah. Again, can we call it a GNU? If there are these conditions attached to it around who becomes part of the so-called GNU?
I think, like in principle, I think the reason why they refer to it as a GNU is because it was a broad extension or invitation to everybody. And there was obviously political parties who were immediately on board after consulting with their different constituencies and their leadership bases, etc. And then there were other political parties that were more hesitant. I only think that if you are joining at a later stage, it makes sense that you might be limited in terms of your voting, in terms of certain decisions that the GNU makes. I think at this point, this looks more like a broad coalition. But let's continue with the GNU. I think that's what people have decided to coin it, and I think that's how it will be known moving forward.
Here's another interesting thing on that document, section or clause 17 of it. Whilst recognizing the president's prerogative to appoint members of the executive, such appointments should be done in consultation with the leaders of the respective parties of the members considered for appointment. So on one end, we respect the president's prerogative to appoint the members of the executive. However, we should still be consulted. The ANC has explored this before. It's not new to the ANC because it had to consult its alliance partners. But those alliance partners have not been happy. This time around, it's a bit different because you have these political parties that are part of the government of national unity. There you have visuals of the former leader of the Democratic Alliance there, Mmusi Maimane, who is now a member or leader rather of BOSA. They secured 2 seats in the National Assembly. Last week I was asking what type of parliamentarian can we expect from Mmusi Maimane, considering that he's not new to the job. But of course he doesn't have as much power as he had when he was the leader of the official opposition. But back to this point about the president's prerogative and respecting the president's prerogative when the alliance partners don't agree with the decision.
I think one of the key things is that there have been in the past a number of people implicated in phenomena such as state capture. And I think when they talk about consulting, I think it is ensuring that you select the right people to actually occupy certain positions. I think, for example, someone like Naledi Pandor would have no opposition in terms of being allocated as minister of a certain portfolio, whereas other people might be regarded as more controversial and moving against the grain in terms of what South Africa is trying to achieve, and I think those individuals might be then excluded. So I think that it is still the prerogative of the president to appoint the ministers as per the constitution. So I think that's still his decision to make. I think it's just a matter of who are the people that he wants to appoint, and then he will decide where he appoints certain people or which portfolios he appoints certain people. But I also think that he would then run it past some of the GNU members, and I think that they will then come to an agreement in terms of what they can and cannot do. But I think it would be actually a great idea to have fresh faces, new people, but also people who've been consistent in terms of governing well, occupy certain positions.
Yeah. I wonder if we will see what happened in KZN also being mirrored at a national government level. For instance, in KZN, where the IFP has its premier candidate being elected the premier of the province. Public Works and Infrastructure went to Lucas Martinez Meyer, who is from the Democratic Alliance. And then Finance as well went to the Democratic Alliance, Francois Andrenes Rogers. He is a member of Parliament, member of the Provincial Legislature, and that position went to him. Do you think that President Cyril Ramaphosa could take a similar decision that says that let's take some of these strategic portfolios to the opposition, in this particular case, parties like the Democratic Alliance as well as the IFP?